There they go. There goes another billionaire leaving New York City for where? You guessed it, of course, Florida. Now, before you start thinking, this doesn't affect me, I'm not a hedge fund manager or corporate billionaire, I'm not a New York City resident even. Oh, it does affect you because the entire population of the country is changing. I will tell you this, though. This is an unbelievable story on how this all came to be. Not even I. And you know, I was stomping up and down about the dangers of Mamdani and the socialists taking over New York and all this other crap, and they're doomed and blah, 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 blah. And I feel I can speak to this because I do have a child in that city for now. Not even I, after all that, thought it would come to this so unbelievably quickly. It's an incredible story. The long and short of it is, Mayor Mamdani, the mayor of New York, doxed, revealed his personal address information in a video of the Citadel CEO. So he's leaving. How it all came to be is incredible. We'll get to it. And yes, it does affect you and me and everybody else who's not billionaires. But there's hope, though, too. We're going to wrap this one up with what's going on in L.A. I never thought this would happen either. But Spencer Pratt, you remember, the reality star guy, whatever kid, he actually may win the L.A. mayoral race. And it's the only hope they have. Anyway, we'll get into all this stuff. It's not just about New York and L.A., I promise you. I'll explain. Thanks for finding Wicked Radio, the live stream, replay, all that good stuff, X, YouTube, Facebook, and, you know, the audio podcast. Apparently you do, because a lot of you found it. So thanks for finding that on whatever podcast platform you like to find. We got to start our little story here working backwards. So the Citadel, major, like $167 billion in investments, major hedge fund. They have their hands in everything and their tentacles everywhere. That's what happens with companies that size, right? The CEO, the guy that started the company, apparently I just learned this too, out of his Harvard dorm room way back when, decades ago. His name is Ken Griffin, not Ken Griffey. That was a great baseball player. This is Ken Griffin. He's the CEO, and he's been in New York City for many years. They first started in Chicago, and ironically enough, went to New York City because there was investment opportunities there. How have things changed now? Let's have him tell the story. This was a big business conference yesterday where he wraps up exactly what's going on. He's picking up his ball and going to Florida. By his ball, it means in a giant investment building that's now going to be, all that money is now going from New York to Miami, of all places, and he explains why.
So where does that leave us at 350 Park?
That leaves us with the fact that we went to Miami and revised our building plan to make it a bigger office building.
You're bailing?
So what do we do at 350 is still a point of discussion internally.
That's a building, a project in New York that's been proposed. These things take years in development. What he didn't count on, well, I'm sure, I would hope that a billionaire has his people on the street getting a feel for what's going on politically in his city because it affects all their investments. All of that is going to wind up going to Florida, like many other businesses have, but none this big yet. It's starting, and it's starting already. And this is what I've been waiting for. This is what needs to happen. Did I think it was going to happen this quickly? No, I did not. I wonder if you did too. But here's a guy that said, you personally now have attacked me. We'll get to that in a second. You personally have attacked me. You've made it impossible for me to have my business here, which means all of that real estate investment, all of those employees, all of that tax base goes away. Because why? The socialist mayor, a tale as old as time, what the socialists and communists always do. They always make the boogeyman out of the billionaires, right? It's those billionaires, those bad billionaires. Because they've taught, the mindset is, and what they've taught, and they've captured the education system for so many years, is if you're a billionaire, you're a bad person. You're bad. You're bad. Well, not all of them are good. And I'm sure they're tough people to deal with. I'm sure not all of them are angels, but let me tell you what else billionaires do. They provide a tax base, and they provide jobs and investment in real estate. That's what those billionaires do. So, he gets to it. What was the final straw? What would take a guy, a major hedge fund corporate billionaire, to pick up his business and leave the entire state? You got to get personal with this one. Because usually in the past, what would happen? They would always be like, well, we're not happy with that. And the captain of industry would get together with the politicians and behind closed doors, and they'd work something out. No. It's different now. This guy just says, no, screw this. I'm leaving. After that press conference, the business press conference, he did a little interview explaining in detail what exactly led to all this.
The only decision that we've made with no regrets in the last few days is to expand the size of our office footprint in our new Miami headquarters.
Just in the last few days, you made that.
Yes,
in reaction to New York?
In reaction to New York. We filed the permit with the city of Miami. We've added several 100,000 square feet of new space in our new building. We will add far more jobs in Miami over the next decade as an immediate and direct consequence of the mayor's poor decision here with respect to his posting of that video.
And people who aren't really involved in business, you and me and people who don't live in New York City, you're like, wait, what video? What are you talking about? All the people in New York have been talking about this because let's give credit where credit is due. Mayor Mamdani basically won with an incredible social media campaign. We were talking about this last year. Just incredible, effective, on-the-street videos, talking to people, whatever. You may not like his policies, and none of us should, because they're devastating to that city and to the country. But boy, is he charismatic and knows how to use it. Except for this. This video, where he literally, the thing that Ken Griffin is referring to, he literally did a video announcing his, and celebrating his new tax plan. We're proud to celebrate and announce this new billionaire's tax. And not only that, if that wasn't enough, he goes outside and they do a video outside of the building where this Ken Griffin lives. That's doxing. That's revealing your personal information. All the lunatics that are out there. Was it a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, where you had a United Healthcare CEO gunned down, murdered in the street as he was shot in the back? Now I'm no champion for corporate CEOs, but you don't want that world. So this guy, Ken Griffin, said, well, that's insane, and I'm not going to put up with this anymore because you attacked me personally. It takes a lot to drive these people out because he had it made in New York City. And you'll hear how much his condo is worth. But you dox him personally with the lunatics that are out there? Here's a little piece of the video himself.
Today, we're taxing the rich. I'm thrilled to announce we've secured a pied-à-terre tax, the first in New York's history. This is an annual fee on luxury properties worth more than $5 million, whose owners do not live full-time in the city. Like for this penthouse, which hedge fund CEO Ken Griffin bought for $238 million.
How did you feel about the mayor's little video?
It was creepy and weird.
Oh, it's more than creepy and weird. Now, two things here. Mamdani knows very well that the people that voted for him, most of them foreign-born, I'll throw that into the mix, the people that voted for him love that. They love that video. It's gone viral. Millions of views already. Because why? Why is it? Because you've trained them to think, oh, it's those billionaires. It's those bad billionaires. They're the ones that are keeping you poor. No, it's not them. They're the ones that have the chance to offer you a job. And by the way, nobody ever looks into the Citadel or any other corporation, all their investments and their opportunities and their scholarship things. Nobody ever looks into that. It's just bad billionaires. And I don't know anything about Ken Griffin. Maybe he's not the nicest guy in the world. The only thing I know, and you know, is that this guy provides a lot of tax base to America's biggest financial city. Until now. Because now all of that is going to shift to Miami. And that's where it does affect you. Because this will not be the only one. It's like billionaires, I think, and corporations are like everybody else. This is the first toe in the water for people leaving. This is what it takes. No more talk. No more, hey, can you calm down and blah, blah, blah. No, he's just leaving. Who will be the next one? There is an exodus of people out of New York City and New York State and New England states. Obviously, we knew that. Remember we talked about that U-Haul study? All the U-Haul trucks are going one way out of those states. That's one thing. And that's important, where people are just leaving. The whole entire makeup of the country is changing because of this stuff and has not been the same since COVID. That's one thing. The bigger deal are people like this guy leaving and taking his tax base and taking all that money away. And then you've already started to see it. Then you have socialist mayors like Mamdani claiming poverty. Oh, we know, no, it didn't work. They're not paying their fair share, and they're cowards because they left. And blah, blah, blah. Believe me, they pay more than their fair share, and they're the ones that actually offer opportunity to people, whether you like them or not. That's how capitalism works. Until you have somebody like Mamdani in the situation. So this happens, the news breaks, and it's a big freaking deal for the financial world. A big deal. And it's a huge deal for New York. So this guy's in a panic now. Press conference yesterday, Mamdani has to respond. Now, I got to apologize, but I have to keep it in there. This reporter's question is the longest, most ponderous, meandering question you'll ever hear in your life. But she sets the scene. I have to play it for you, but we'll take it in a break here. Here's the long question before we get to his answer just yesterday. How are you going to respond to this, Mr. Mayor?
Yesterday was speaking about calling your video again. He called it creepy and weird. And he said that, again, that you targeting him has just been very unfair. And he said that he's going to be doubling down his investments in Florida rather than New York City. And so I just wanted to get your take. What sort of conversations have you had with him since that video? Have you spoken with him? And
oh my God,
what sort
get
of
to the question.
concerns are you having when it comes to potential job losses? Are you looking at ways to, I guess, build up? And your economic development commissioner, have you thought about who you're going to appoint yet?
Yeah, I'm sorry. That was the longest question in the history of journalism. But anyway, here's his answer. And by the way, I don't know if you saw this audio. You didn't see it, audio-only listeners, but this is the most nervous I've seen this guy because he's a smooth character. But this is a big shot. I honestly mean this. I don't think they expected somebody to play hardball like this. But anyway, here's his answer.
Thank you. So I'll first just start by saying that I want all New Yorkers to succeed. That includes business owners and entrepreneurs who create good-paying jobs, who make this city the economic engine not just of our state, but frankly of our country. And that also includes Ken Griffin, who is a major employer in our city. That does not negate the fact, however, that our tax system is fundamentally broken. It rewards extreme wealth while working people are pushed to the brink.
Okay, that's basically all you need to know. That's his answer for that. But I will say it again. I'll reiterate this. That's the most nervous I've seen that guy. I truly think, in my untrained eye, I think this guy was shook by that. I really did. Because in the past, what do we have? Decades of business leaders saying, we're not going to put up with this, we're not going to do it. And then there's some backroom conversation, and they say, we'll stay, but you got to give us this, and blah, 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 blah. No, this Ken Griffin dude, because you doxed him personally. You told the world where his address is, where he leaves out of every single morning. Most mornings. You told him where he lives. You put his life at risk, literally. We saw what happened with that United dude. Now he says, I'm freaking leaving because I have an option now. I have Florida now to go to. And if it wasn't Florida, it probably would have been Texas, possibly Tennessee, maybe North Carolina. I'm not too sure. But Miami looks a hell of a lot more attractive. This is what affects everybody. But how about the line there from Mamdani? It's the same crap. It's the same thing where they create this divide. Never any specifics. You never talk about the exact number of jobs that somebody like Ken Griffin from Citadel creates. Never talk about the amount of taxes he pays and the percentage he pays. It's always, they don't pay their fair share. Because the less enlightened people who can't understand all that, they don't have the mindset for it, they have a losing mindset, they can't look beyond that. And that's why the socialists always create that divide. They're the ones, it's those evil billionaires, that's why your life sucks. No, it's not. He's leaving, and so can you. Go to a better opportunity. Same old thing, but I'm telling you, this does affect you and me and everybody else because the entire outlook of the entire country is changing. You watch to see which corporations leave next, which billionaires leave next, and get the hell out of there because now they can. This Ken Griffin guy just opened up a can of worms that is not going to be closed for a long time until New York fixes itself. It's gone through tough times before. It's, the 70s were rough before Giuliani came in. Mid-90s were rough in New York, and it always bounces back. But I don't think you've seen this. I don't think we've seen an era where New York is downtrodden, but you're literally running billionaires out of the city. They usually invest in other places. They got to put their money somewhere. Now they're just leaving. That's new. So this may affect what the states look like. This may affect where you live because investment in that city means a nicer city and more opportunity for everybody. May affect where your kids live. Let's say you have a college graduate who is a finance major. What's looking more attractive now? New York City or Miami? It's all different. The entire thing is changing, and this is the first toe in the water. Good for this Ken Griffin guy getting out of there. Now you watch to see who follows the lead. Well, let's get out of this and talk about something else. I did not expect this either. We all know LA's a mess, and after the fires. Well, after the fires, I think I played one campaign video from Spencer Pratt. That's right. What is he? Actor? He's mostly known for being married to Heidi Montag. And he was a reality show star, whatever. Give him more credit than that, though, because this guy, and sure, they're using him for name recognition, so what? This guy was, along with thousands of others, people lost their homes in the LA fires last year. His house burned to the ground. So did his parents. So did his loved ones. They gave him a trailer, And there's basically no rebuild going on in the city of Los Angeles, and it's absolutely, completely, totally corrupt. So he decided, what the hell? I've got the backing. I've got smart advisors behind me now. He started to do videos to point out exactly who was responsible. Complete negligence on the part of LA leaders. The reservoirs were empty. They didn't have the fire trucks ready. They didn't have anything. They won't clear out the underbrush to prevent forest fires because the enviro nuts won't let them. All of that stuff, and he's pointed it out. Well, some very prominent backers got through to Spencer Pratt, and they said, hey, if you run for mayor of the city, we'll back you, and we'll have every advisor that you need to get this done. But he's strong on his own, too, and had the first mayoral debate in L.A. last night. I know, this is one of those things, you and I don't live in L.A., but this is amazing, and this may be the last chance for another one of our great American cities, just like New York City. I saw this last night, just clips people had sent me, and then I looked into it a little bit further. He kicked ass last night in this debate. So he's running against Mayor Bass, who was the incumbent, one of the worst of all time, in his words, responsible for the city's destruction, and one of the LA City Council members, who he thinks is even worse, who's running. So it's a three-person race for LA mayor. And this is him going after this council member in the debate, and he does a fantastic job. Like, he's really good. I could really see him winning. If he doesn't win this race, I think LA's doomed. I really do. But this is what he says against this council woman. I think her name is Raman, I believe. Great point here. Spencer Pratt, you go.
Say, Councilwoman Robin acts like she doesn't have any authority with this homelessness. She was the third most powerful person in city council. She runs the homeless housing thing. She acts like this is just Mayor Bass. First off, inside safe. I like to say inside safe makes all of us outside unsafe. The reality is no matter how many beds you give these people, they are on super meth. They are on fentanyl. The DEA statistic says 93% of this is a drug addiction problem. Nithya, Councilwoman Robin's plan for treatment first, I will go below the Harbor Freeway tomorrow with her, and we can find some of these people she's going to offer treatment for. She's going to get stabbed in the neck. These people do not want a bed. They want fentanyl or super meth. These ideas.
If the count says right, that's like, I hate to say it, and maybe this is hyperbole, but that's like right out of the Trump playbook in the debates. Remember how you would go right after people and actually speak like normal people speak, like at a dinner conversation? Where he says, if she goes into the L.A. freeway and offer these people a bed under the L.A. freeway, the homeless people, she's going to get stabbed in the neck. That's pretty powerful imagery right there. I haven't really heard that too much in the L.A. mayoral race. Maybe he does have a shot. I don't know what their poll numbers are like. I don't know what their whole system's like, but I'll say this. They may be doomed. Yeah, more people leave in L.A. just like they are in New York if that guy doesn't win, because that may be their last chance. I don't know. Good for him, though. That took me by surprise. All right, the takeaway. You dox a billionaire, they're going to leave. You make it personal, they will leave. They'll put up with almost everything. But doxing the address, the personal home address of Ken Griffin, the billionaire CEO, the guy that started Citadel, the hedge fund, yeah, he's leaving and going to Miami. And watch to see who's leaving next. There's going to be an exodus, not only of regular people, of billionaires too. There goes that tax base, and then Mamdani will claim ignorance. Oh, we need more money from everybody else. And that's the ironic thing, too. That just means they're going to tax the regular citizens who said that the billionaires aren't paying their fair share. Don't ever fall for it. And it does affect you if you don't live in New York. It affects all of us because the country's changing. Maybe that's a good thing. Maybe it's time for that. Thanks for hanging out with me. I appreciate you. We're almost through the work week. We're almost into Friday. Make it a great one. Thanks for finding the replay, too. Wicked Radio on X and YouTube and Facebook and on the audio podcast, wherever you like to get those. Make it a wicked awesome Thursday. Talk to you tomorrow.